But it's human nature to fear the unusual. Perhaps I am a man. I have a name.
The holiday season is not just a time for family gatherings and ugly Christmas sweaters. Sure, we all love to sit around a warm fire with our loved ones and sip on Aunt Judy's famous spiked eggnog, or whatever your version of that may be. But the winter months are also a time of reflection, anticipation, and in some cases, the death of one thing and the rebirth of something else. After all, the wintertime signifies the death of leaves, grass, and the calendar year before everything gets born again in the spring. So naturally, it's the best time for one to cozy up on the couch and revisit those comforting movies that put us in a nostalgic headspace while we reflect on the year behind us. Such is the case for Tim Burton's second outing as the director who brought audiences into our dark Batman era in 1992's Batman Returns.
Eat floor. High fiber.
This is a movie that, like any piece of Batman media, gets talked about online exhaustively. Whether it's being praised for its boundary-pushing visuals and incredible casting, or it's being criticized for its shortcomings when being compared to the original, there is no doubt a lot to talk about when it comes to this caped Christmas time classic. But for me, this movie has always stood out, and especially in the lineup of movies that take place around Christmas, because it typically gets overshadowed by Tim Burton and Henry Selick's A Nightmare Before Christmas, which of course is an absolute banger from Halloween to Christmas every single year. But the truth is, there are a lot of topics left on the table when it comes to Batman Returns. You've heard about Danny DeVito's iconic performance as the Penguin, and you've of course seen the beautifully designed shiny black leather of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman suit. But today, I want to get deeper than that and revisit this iconic sequel with one goal in mind: figure out what Burton was trying to say with what ended up being his final run at the big screen Batman, and see what we can learn from analyzing the film, its creators, and the themes that have stood the test of time for the last 30-ish years. Basically, I just want to know, what is Batman Returns really about? Batman Returns is Tim Burton's 1992 film which continues the story of Bruce Wayne and his darkly dreary city full of eccentric criminals. In this one, we see much of the film from the perspective of the Penguin, Catwoman, and of course the big guy himself. The film is a direct sequel to 1989's Batman, which established a Gotham City that leaned heavily into Burton's classic aesthetic sensibilities. In this film, the deep and dark Gothic sets are even further on display, with the entire movie having a gorgeous, crisp, contrasting composition. While some may not have the same affinity for this movie as I do, Batman Returns offers a twisted Christmas-time tale that is fully loaded with black leather, action and combat, and of course artistic subtext that will help us figure out what this movie is.
Tell me if this is a theme that seems to run through. All the characters, Pee-wee, even Batman, they seem to be sort of schizophrenic characters. They seem to be... No.
Isn't everybody, in a way? I mean, that's why I like them all, really.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been attracted to characters that have splits and that, you know, are doing things for reasons that they are not quite integrated with and don't feel quite together. I guess that's because that's the way I feel most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's just things I can relate to.
So, in order for us to figure out what this movie's trying to say, I think it's probably appropriate to take a look at the film's creator. Tim Burton is widely known for his gothic yet whimsical visual style and haunting but always charming character work. Along with the Batman films, movies like Sleepy Hollow, Big Fish, and Edward Scissorhands rank among some of his best work in live action, and I think we can all appreciate his stop motion and animated features as well. Burton often tells his tales from the perspective of society's outsiders. He likes to show us the lonely, dark, and beautifully tragic vantage points of things that we only dreamt of as children. And in the case of Batman Returns, all of the above rings true.
I believe the word you're looking for is
The film opens up with an upper-class Gotham City family on Christmas Eve as they prepare to welcome their first child into the world. When the baby is born and seen to be physically disfigured, the wealthy couple takes a cold winter's night stroll through the park with their new son, only to drop him into the freezing river to die in the sewers of Gotham.
I was their number one son, and they treated me like number two.
Now, that is one hell of a way to open a film. The scene is very cruel, but it's also effective in doing one thing, making us feel bad for the bad guy.
Who can hate a penguin?
Now, it's pretty common to have a movie villain whose backstory is just tragic enough to make us feel kind of bad for them. But this scene right here is letting us sit with this baby for the entire opening title sequence while Danny Elfman's iconic score swells. Now, seeing as Burton often states that he himself feels like an outsider, I think choosing to open this movie with this scene in particular is no accident. Burton wants us to see two things. First, he wants us to see what the upper class of Gotham is really like when they think nobody's looking. They're harsh, they're cold as ice. They are the villains. Next, Burton is showing us where this baby is starting so that we can understand just where he's going.
And there's just something about these characters that I just find very compelling in this world of night and the coolness of it. It's like you're inside of somebody's mind or something, and I just really, they're very psychological characters, and it's like fairy tale characters in a way, or these kind of weird sort of symbolic images, and just all of those things created a good energy.
So, if we really want to continue to understand the movie, we next need to look into the movie's key players. This movie is great for many reasons, but one of them being that the film's story is taken mostly away from Batman and focused largely on Penguin and Catwoman.
To destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates the most, namely us.
Now, I love a good Batman-centered story as much as the next guy, but I also think that sometimes Batman is a character that is more powerful in the side pocket of his rogues. Penguin's thing is that he originally just wants to find his parents, but when he kidnaps a powerful Gotham industrialist named Max Schreck, the two cut a deal to use Schreck's political pull to bring Penguin up from the sewers and rise to power as the mayor of Gotham. This is important to note because the theory I'm forming has quite a bit to do with that plotline.
You drive a hard bargain, Maxie. All right, I'll be mayor.
The movie also gives us a full origin for Selina Kyle, or Catwoman. She's a shy, self-conscious Gothamite who works as Max Schreck's personal assistant. Her deal is just that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time and ends up being pushed out of a window by Schreck to keep his company's secrets safe. When she's revived by some magical cats in an alleyway, she's reborn as an anarchic and acrobatic cat burglar who has it out for the system that failed her.
How can you be so mean to someone so meaningless?
She suffers being in a man's world and all of the
Suppressed rage.
the torture that goes along with
Being a woman.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Now, this could be a commentary on how outsiders are treated by the systems that they serve, being that Oswald was discarded by his parents simply for looking different, and Selina was murdered in cold blood by an elitist businessman as if her life and work had no value. These people were wronged and broken.
You killed me. The Penguin killed me. Batman killed me. That's 3 lives down. You got enough in there to finish me off?
Now, Penguin's way of processing his abandonment is that he wants to use Max's resources to become mayor. It's kind of like a if you can't join them, rule them sort of thing. He felt like he was never good enough for his own family, so he'll do whatever it takes to prove to the world that he is worthy of the same love as everyone else.
None of your characters, even Edward Scissorhands, any of those, they don't seem to have any superpowers. They don't seem to be people that can win,
screwed up people.
Screwed up people.
That's their superpowers.
That's what attracts you to them, is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why I like Batman is that he seemed very modern to me that way, in the sense that he's not somebody who I don't know. I mean, I always had a problem with Superman. I just wonder why he just didn't, you know, blow away everybody with his breath or something. This kind of thing has more, you know, it just has more weird reality, but a nice kind of reality. It just seemed kind of modern to me. It just seems sort of like the way things are.
Now, this movie certainly seems focused on damning the corporate system as it is, but I think it's highlighted expertly in the scene where Max visits Oz and presents him with the idea of being mayor. Max is a smooth-talking, manipulative type who uses those he sees as beneath him as pawns to serve his larger purpose. This is shown to us literally as Max dangles a raw, dead fish in front of Oz to entice him out of his room and into the mayoral pitch meeting. You can even see this from the way the shots are framed, with Oz being small and meek in the frame and Max being framed as imposing. Burton famously was constantly at odds with Warner Brothers over the direction of his film, with WB wanting to make a more light and fluffy popcorn movie that could sell merchandise, and Burton wanting to lean more into the German expressionistic style of gothic soapiness. So with that in mind, I can't help but see this scene as Burton writing his own experiences, being dazzled by the studio with the promise of fulfilling a dream, only to be nothing more than a tool in their box from the beginning.
Batman 1 was really the first big movie that I ever did, and I think any director will tell you, you can never fully prepare for the weird sense, the abstract sense of pressure that comes with that. I think that it's just there's more money, there's more things, and it just gets bigger. It becomes a bigger, weirder animal. And I felt about the first Batman I actually basically just didn't feel like I do on other movies that I've worked on. And I was just out to I love the material, and I just wanted to feel about the material like I do about the other movies. So I think there was a couple of new characters in Batman Returns, and I felt like I had a bit more grasp on it, and just wanted to make it another movie and a better movie. And I felt there was new elements that would make it fresh and different that way.
Now, as for Batman's involvement in the story, he is similarly broken like Selina and Oz, but we all know his story. In this film, Bruce is really facing a much more personal battle than previously. I mean, sure, he still needs to kick some ass and save the city, but he also needs to save Selina and Oz in ways that will challenge him as Batman and as Bruce Wayne.
You got kind of a dark side, don't you?
No darker than yours, Bruce.
See, Batman represents justice and looking out for the little guy. His whole purpose is to be a symbol of hope for a better Gotham and to save those that the system has failed. So while Batman wants to help these two, Bruce Wayne is in the very demographic that they both resent. Well, maybe not Selina. So I think of it this way. Tim Burton wrote Batman Returns as his own way of saying that those deemed as weak, unworthy, or otherwise different will one day inherit the Earth. He shows Batman's empathy for Penguin as if the two are in some way connected, because they are. They're both orphans who long for the love of their families, knowing that they can't have it. They both want to make their dead parents proud despite their unique ways of going about it. The Penguin is a victim that Batman needs to save from himself. And when the Penguin dies, it's not without Bruce's heartbreaking failure to save him, and by the time it all goes down, you aren't sure whether to cry or cheer.
His parents.
Again, this scene direct from Gotham Plaza, where we have just witnessed the emergence
I hope he finds him.
Bruce and Selina's relationship is a little bit different. Bruce Wayne is at odds with Max Schreck over the regulations of Schreck's factories. He's a common enemy for all of the players in the movie, but especially for Bruce and Selina. There's a scene midway through the film where Batman confronts Catwoman on a rooftop, and she says this line.
Who's the man behind the bat? Maybe you can help me find the woman behind the cat.
Well, that's exactly what happens when Bruce takes off his mask and Wait a minute. Where did his black eye makeup go?
Why are you dressed up like Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron.
So, Bruce eventually does reveal his identity to Selina. And why? Because he wants to help her understand who she is by showing her who he really is. The two share a duality that is increasingly hard to reconcile, much like the duality of being an artist with a vision and competing with yourself to conform to the demands of the greater system. So when we look at all of these characters, we see one who will do anything to rule the elite, one that will do anything to destroy the elite, and one who wants to save them all from letting their own tragedies define them. Three people with three understandable perspectives who are seemingly at odds with each other, but are all connected by one simple truth. They're all freaks.
I mistook me for somebody else. Sorry.
You mean mistook me?
I mistook me. Yeah.
Batman Returns is a lot of things, but this Christmas, I got something more from it than I usually do. I learned that despite the tragedies that we all go through, and despite being used, jaded, and jerked around from life from time to time, it's never too late to make the right choices and follow what you know in your heart is the right thing to do, and occasionally saving the city from the very system that it serves.
Meow.
Hello and welcome everybody to Friday Night Flicks. I'm Kier, and as usual, happy Friday, and I'm glad you're here. Hello everybody. You guys already got the comments going during the pre-show. I really appreciate that. Did my best to pin some of them. Happy Friday from Brad Perkins. Brad, thanks for being back, man. It's good to see you again. How's everybody doing? What's everybody seeing this weekend? What's everybody watching this weekend? I want to know. Guys, we got a good show lined up tonight. You could probably tell from the title. Let's get some music going here in the background, as we do. And let me know if the music is too loud or too soft or whatever the case may be. Just let me know. Yeah, we got a good show. We got a good show tonight, guys. We're going to be talking Tim Burton. Specifically, we're going to be tier list ranking all of his films. There's a couple other things that we'll get into if we have time. But most importantly, tier list ranking Tim Burton, and we're going to be doing another giveaway tonight. We're going to be giving away a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Batman Returns, which is my personal favorite of the two Tim Burton Batman movies. I don't care what you have to say about that. Well, I do care, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Hello, happy Friday. Hello, thank you for being here. Darnell Leak, happy Friday. Thank you. And to you as well. Steve Neal says, Ed Wood is an excellent film. I agree, and I don't want to spoil my ranking of these movies yet, but we will definitely be talking about Ed Wood later in this stream, so stick around. Cartoon Man has a cool question to kind of get us started while we're Tim Burton brained tonight. Cartoon Man says, do you think Tim Burton would be involved in the James Gunn DC universe? For those of you that somehow don't know this, James Gunn is now in charge of the all-new DCU, the DC universe. It's going to be hopefully less of a train wreck than the previous one, although I think there were some good moments here and there. And I don't know, maybe. I mean, I think the only capacity Tim Burton would be interested in being in this in the James Gunn DC franchise or universe would be to tackle something like Batman, and I don't know if there's going to be a lot of room for, especially like, I mean, would Tim Burton do anything with Batman that wasn't with Michael Keaton? And I don't think Michael Keaton's going to be involved much, especially in these first few phases. So I don't know. It would be cool if Tim Burton could could bring some sauce to it and hopefully deliver on something good, which, as we know with Tim Burton, he's very hit or miss. I can't wait to talk about that. And Brad, to answer this question, this is a good one, and actually this is important to get out of the way before we get going. Brad Perkins wants to know, do Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas count, because technically they are Henry Selick movies? Yeah, so I did put this a little bit in the description of this stream, but I'm not going to be counting Corpse Bride or Nightmare Before Christmas because technically the credited director is Henry Selick, although we know Tim Burton is in an ongoing battle, especially with Nightmare Before Christmas. But I'm going with movies that he's got directorial credits on, so I'm not counting those two, although I love them both, and for fun at the end of the ranking, I'll tell you where I'd put those. How about that? Actually, I also like this one. Brad, you're on a roll tonight. You're feeling sassy too. I like this. Throwing in some sweet opinions. Lisa Frankenstein equals the best Tim Burton movie that Tim Burton never made. I was a huge fan, am still a huge fan of Lisa Frankenstein. Saw it at the theater, watched it again when it came out on Peacock. I loved it both times. Really enjoyed it. Did have very, very big Tim Burton vibes, for sure. This is I think this is how hard do I work on my videos, and I guess the answer to that is hard. I work hard on them. That's what I do for a living, so I take pride in them, and I want them to be good. So I work hard on all my videos. Research and writing, you would think would take the longest. Sometimes though, the editing takes the longest. Just depends, on the video. But hopefully you enjoy them and you can see the effort that goes into making them, because they are difficult to make. All right, guys. I want to do the tier list ranking, but I think before I do, I had kind of I had kind of an impulse to watch and react to this new trailer for the new Bong Joon-ho film, Mickey 17. Now, in order to get through copyright on this, I've just got a little bit of an edit to make the screen smaller, and I've turned the volume down from the trailer. But if you haven't seen this, please go watch this trailer after the stream for yourself, because some of the audio in it, specifically Robert Pattinson's voice, is worth hearing, just to help kind of form your own opinion of what this is going to be. But I thought this trailer was extremely surprising, and I kind of wanted to just watch it. If I had the volume on, I'd probably be able to tell you. But Brad says Moon was a great movie. I agree. Yeah, what did you guys think of that trailer? I'm curious. I'm very curious, because I personally think I'm actually more excited now, just because it looks like it's going to be something totally different than what I was expecting. I almost wish I didn't see the trailer, so that when I went to see the movie, I was expecting something more Bong Joon-ho, something a little more serious, a little more, dark. And then to get that would have been an interesting surprise. Or it could have ruined it. I don't know. It just depends, Like, what if I was in the mood for something like Parasite, and I thought that's what I was going to get, and then I went to see this? Would I still like it? I don't know. Cartoon Man wants to know if I've ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight. Yes, and my version of that was I was with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, and it was a it was a three-way dance, and it was sick. And you missed it, Cartoon Man. You weren't there. Hey, Stephen O'Donnell, welcome back. Is it Stephen or Stefan? I always forget, but welcome back. I'm happy you're back. We missed you. Man, I'm loving your guys' comments. Thank you so much. Steve Neal says Sam Rockwell in anything. Yes, definitely. I love Sam Rockwell. However, yeah, his shine part in, yeah, isn't he the guy in the Ninja Turtles movie? Either the first one or the second one, where he goes, "You got any cigarettes?" And then Sam Rockwell goes, "Regular or menthol?" I think that's what you're talking about. So funny. Mr. Bucket Man? Mr. Bucket Man. Robert's voice in the trailer is much different from Batman. Oh, yeah. This is what you get when Robert Pattinson plays Batman. And this is what you get when Robert Pattinson plays Mickey. He went from Archer to Peter Griffin. I don't know if Bumbray is in the chat. Chris, if you're in the chat, Chris Bumbray, make yourself known. All right, guys, but let's keep it moving. We got a lot of movies on this tier list that we're going to be talking about. So Here's what I want, okay? Comments wise, here's what I think is going to be important. We're going to be taking these movies one at a time. Let's try. I'm going to try to only pin comments about the movie I'm talking about at the moment, because I don't want to keep getting ahead of myself. And you guys know me. If I see a comment that distracts me, I will go on a tangent. And I don't know if we have time for that. Okay. So wait, hold on. Speaking of tangents, I have to know. Andrew Machado, isn't the director of Moon David Bowie's son? Is that true? Can somebody verify Andrew Machado here? Is this true that Moon was directed by David Bowie's son? Or am I like missing some kind of joke? Because if so, oh no, apparently that is true. Sick. Very cool. I love David Bowie. So does Lance. So Lance, if you're watching this, there's an Easter egg for you. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the tier list. But before we do, if you're not familiar with Tim Burton, I don't know what the fuck rock you've been living under. He's kind of a legend. I will say his filmography, like many great directors, has some ups and downs. And I think this is going to be an interesting tier list for a couple of reasons. The big one being, this is going to be a tier list with a lot of variety, because Tim Burton has made some of my favorite movies that I cherish and love and adore. And he's also made some movies that I would consider nearly unwatchable. There have been both. And kind of everything in between. So we've got categories we're going to be talking about. But throughout all this, I don't want to be having this conversation alone. So what I will ask is, while I want you guys to mainly keep your comments to whatever movie we're talking about at the moment, feel free. If something, if you want to chime in, if you hate one of my takes, or if you love it and you agree, or you want to add or expand to it, please feel free. Let's get the comments really going during this one, because it's gonna be boring if it's just me telling you guys what my ranking is. I would like to at least get your perspectives. Oh, wow. So apparently the same guy who directed Moon, Bowie's son, we now know, also directed the Warcraft movie. So interesting that I didn't know that. Interesting for sure. Okay, let's get into the tier list, guys. I'm going to show it to you here. Well, that's me. Hi. Hello. Subscribe to Joe Blow. All right. This is what we're looking at here. This is what we got. All right. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I had to leave off movies like James and the Giant Peach and Nightmare Before Christmas. Actually, Corpse Bride is on this list, and it shouldn't be, so that's my bad. Maybe we'll save that one for the end. Let me move it to the end. But movies where Tim Burton was credited as the film's director are on this list. Anything outside of that is not. Maybe we could save that for a different thing, okay? But keep the comments coming. A lot of quotes from other Jokers in here, aside from Jack Nicholson's Joker. That's funny to me. Okay. All right, guys, let's start with this first one, Mars Attacks. Comment actually if you've even seen Mars Attacks. That's something that I want to know. This is a movie that I distinctly remember. It's one of the few movies from like my early childhood that it created a mental image in my brain that I still have not gotten rid of. It's a very iconic movie in my brain and in my personal canon. It's a very iconic movie. But I don't think I talk about this movie enough with people to know, is it popular with with normal people, or is it just popular with people that have nostalgia for it? That's what I want. Like if somebody like today that had never seen this movie were to watch it, would they love it? We can't know because we've seen it. Drinking my tea. Cavito will sponsor us one day. We know they're watching. They're just waiting. All right, Mars Attacks. Okay, so for me, I'm going to put Mars Attacks just to kind of set a precedent. I'm going to put Mars Attacks in like it. And here's my logic, okay? I think Mars Attacks is a good movie when you look at it from exactly what it is, which is an homage and sort of parody of those old, and when I mean 40s and 50s style science fiction alien invasion films. It captures a lot of that kind of gooey, messy practicalness, and also it is funny. It's a very humorous movie, which I think is something that like is important to remember. Some Tim Burton movies are played to be funny, so not every special effect thing is meant to be scary or even convincing. Sometimes things are just played for the cheese and to be laughed at. Here's the thing with Mars Attacks, though. I don't watch this movie like ever. I've probably seen it a handful of times in my life. I think the last time I saw it, it was probably before the pandemic. So probably like 2019. I might have had like an edible or two and watched most of it at least. And I enjoy it, but I don't think it's one that I really ever get the sense to go back and watch. It also feels like Tim Burton still hadn't found that Tim Burton style, which I'm not saying is not a good thing, because in some of these cases, the less Tim Burton, the better. But yeah, I don't know. That one to me, totally middle of the road. Hopefully none of you take too much offense to that. Hopefully this is nobody's favorite movie and I just shit all over it by not putting it in the best. Oh, let me go over the categories too with you guys. Got to go over them categories. At the very top, we have the best. Okay, these are going to be the ones that I would not want to live without. Okay, like Desert Island. I can only bring, a handful of Tim Burton movies with me. These are going to be the ones at that list. Okay. Love It. Those are going to be ones that maybe would not be classics to me, or maybe are not ones that I am obsessed with or consider to be a personal classic, but I still love and enjoy. Like It, that's exactly Mars Attacks. That's going to be like, I've seen it. Maybe I've seen it more than once. I've enjoyed it. I do enjoy it, but I'm not thinking about that movie as much. I'm not going back and rewatching it as much. Not for me are going to be ones that I know have value, but that just don't click in my stupid brain. Okay. And I will tell you guys now that will happen. Okay. And then Hate It. Those are gonna be movies that aren't they're not just not for me. Those are gonna be ones that aren't for anybody. And I think that might be a short list, but there are some movies on this list that I truly think just don't waste your time with. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So now that we've got the categories out the way, let's look at the other movies. Now, this is one. This is a good one. We should have started with this because I've already seen in the comments so much Batman talk, and this one's going to be an important one to rank. Okay, so we have 1989's Batman. This is, of course, Michael Keaton's debut as Batman. Jack Nicholson as the Joker, who, up until Heath Ledger was the most respected. Even over Cesar Romero. And I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I'm going to put it in Love It. And you'll see why. You will see why it doesn't go into best later. But I'm going to put it in Love It. Okay? Here's the thing. For me, and I know like Darnell Leak disagrees. I know. I'm probably going to get a lot of this. I know. Look, here. We're already going. Yeah. Keep them coming. I can take it. Listen. I love the 1989 Batman movie. I watch it often. And by often, I mean I probably watch both of the movies, the Tim Burton Batman movies, probably once a year. Honestly, probably once a year. I love them. And the movies both mean an awful lot to me. However, when it comes to me getting my fix of Michael Keaton as Batman, of Tim Burton's Batman universe, I get that fix a little more from Batman Returns. And I think Batman Returns is the better of the two movies in that case. So I'm saving a spot. I don't want to put them on the same level because to me, Batman Returns is a superior film. And I know that that'll get some hate, but that's how I be feeling. And so I got to put Batman in the Love It tier. Now, listen, guys, this is also, we're talking, it's a spectrum, right? So if you love it, maybe, a few more notches than I do, that's okay. We agree that the movie's amazing, do we not? So, you can razz me, but don't hate me, okay? And yeah, can we even mention Tim Burton's Batman movies without Danny Elfman and his iconic music? I talked about that in the pre-show video. Danny Elfman's score to the Batman theme song, dun, 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 dun. I love it. And it doesn't get old. I remember I even got juiced when I heard it in, they sampled it in Mallrats in the scene where Silent Bob does the parody of the Batman grappling gun. True, Batman Returns doesn't have Prince, who is, of course, an absolute icon. and is well respected for his contributions to that soundtrack. Ooh. Man, a lot of you guys are saying that 89 is the superior film, which I knew would be the case, but I got to tell you guys, I disagree. One of the first movies you're like in life, that's a great movie to like first. I think my earliest memory was probably like Ghostbusters, probably like a movie that still is one of my favorite ones, you know? All right, guys, let's get back to the list. Want to dazzle you with more of my hot takes. Spicy. Next, we have Miss Peregrine's School for Particular Children. It's a mouthful of a name, and I have seen this movie probably 5-6 times. So I've seen it enough times to know that even though it's very bloated and maybe a little too long, maybe very too long, I still like this movie, and I think it goes right in the middle with Mars Attacks. Now, here's the thing. This again. And Brad, thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you're just kissing my ass, Brad, but if you are, I appreciate it all the same, my man. Oh, you hated Miss Peregrine. Wow. Wow. I like it. I actually think, I mean, I don't love it or anything, but I like it. Here's my justification for Miss Peregrine's School for whatever. This movie is Tim Burton's take on X-Men. And that's like at the base of it, that's what this movie is. It's just a bunch of angsty teenage freaks who learn from an older freak on how to manage their freakiness. And I like that. I mean, I enjoy the movie on that level. And I think the direction is good. I think the special effects are incredibly good for a Tim Burton movie, but also just for a movie that's not a giant Marvel franchise film, it looks really good. The cast is really good. You got Isa Butterfield, you got Tim O'Dowd. Great overall cast. Eva Green. But where the movie falls short for me is that there's so much going on. The movie is bloated. There's a lot happening where you kind of have your main journey, which is a kid's, introduction to essentially mutants and kind of this secret world where these peculiar children are kind of encapsulated in time. And then you've got the villain kind of side piece of that. But then they also dream of, taking down the villain and protecting themselves. And then you've also got the kid and his grandpa and his dad and this family kind of like, so it kind of all does get a little bit messy is what I'm trying to say. However, in the parts where this movie shines, like when the kids are just kind of demoing their powers, or the set pieces, or the performances, this movie's pretty damn good. Samuel L. Jackson is the villain, and while his design is completely ridiculous, still kind of sick, and I enjoyed it. So Miss Peregrine, for that, I think deserves to be right in the middle of the road. I almost would say that it's kind of in a category of its own between like it and love it, because I maybe like it a little more than Mars Attacks, but it is not. It is not on the level of Batman. It's just not, All right, next. You guys ready to either love me or hate me? Because this is going to be one of those ones. It's going to be one of those ones where I tell you what I think about Edward Scissorhands, and you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. But I think it's one of the best Tim Burton movies ever made. This might be, I don't want to speak too soon, but it's one of my favorite Tim Burton movies. I think that this movie is probably the Tim Burton movie I've seen the most times. And that's, for many reasons. I just love every single thing about this movie. But this is a nostalgia movie for me through and through. I was introduced to this movie when I was extremely young. And it's a pretty, it's a pretty kid-friendly movie. It's a little mature. Some of the violence between Winona Ryder's boyfriend and Edward, but and some sexiness. There's a little bit of sexiness, but ultimately it's a pretty kid-friendly movie. And I saw it when I was young, and I absolutely fell in love with the style, the music. I loved the kind of colorful, pastel-colored suburban homes. And then up on the hill is just this perfectly Tim Burton style mountain with snow. The weather is different up there because you got Edward shaving the ice with his hands. Yeah, okay. Look, I won some of you back. Look, you didn't like that Batman wasn't up there, but we got some huge Edward Scissorhands supporters. And that's what I want to see. Oh, yes, Edward is definitely up there with the best. Yes, it truly is maybe one of the greatest movies Tim Burton. I mean, it is one of the greatest movies Tim Burton's ever made, for sure. Well, John... Ealing the Dogs says, what's Johnny Depp's best movie? Pirates of the Caribbean. I love the Pirates of the Caribbean, especially the first one. I love most of those movies, so I don't disagree at all. Oh, hey everybody. Hey, we got some new people coming in. Hey everybody, thank you for being here. Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. I agree. Thank you, Low Epic Vision Films. I'm so sorry for ruining your guys' name, but you know, it's on brand for me. That's what I do. You know, I say names wrong, and I desperately plead for Kavita Kombucha to sponsor us. Okay, let's move on. Edward, actually, you know what? I'm not done with Edward Scissorhands. The other thing that I think is very important to remember about why this movie rules so hard is it's got the Christmas flavor. And I think Tim Burton, while we love Tim Burton around Halloween, let's not forget Tim Burton dabbles in Christmas, and it's good sometimes. In the case of Edward Scissorhands, loves it. I love it. Yeah, Darnell, I agree. It is a beautiful film. Yeah. It's an emotional tearjerker. Yeah, I don't disagree, Rick Jones. Edward Scissorhands is kind of, to me, it's kind of Pinocchio. You know, it basically is Pinocchio. It's Tim Burton Pinocchio, and I enjoy that very much. All right, let's get to the next one. We've got Sweeney Todd. This one is also, I think, going to be polarizing because not only do some people not fuck with this era of Tim Burton, this kind of early to mid 2000s, some people also don't fuck with musicals, like, at all. Here's the thing, though. And to answer your question real quick, Mr. Bucketman, yes, I consider Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns both Christmas movies, plain and simple. Here's my thing with Sweeney Todd, okay? Before I rank it, here's what you guys have to know about me. I love musicals. I've always loved them. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I know why. They just make me happy. But I love musicals. So I'm a little bit sweet on this movie just for that. I think the musical numbers are actually pretty good. Johnny Depp is a surprisingly, like, decent singer. I don't know if that's a surprise to you guys, but it was to me. I think this movie, here's the problem, okay? Listen, I gotta compliment it, or I gotta shit on it a little bit with my compliment. I love musicals. I love Tim Burton. Those two things kind of go together. But this movie, admitting that I like it sometimes makes me feel like I'm 14 and this is deep. You know what I mean? Yeah, Grease 2. Actually, Steven, I'm going to pin that for now because I'm going to come back to that comment. I feel a little bit, when I say that I like Sweeney Todd, I feel a little bit like an angsty teenager still, okay? And I want you guys to know that in saying that, I have to be honest with myself here. I like Sweeney Todd. And not only do I like it, I would say it's up there with Miss Peregrine, where there's some parts of that movie I really, really love. For example, I love the Sacha Baron Cohen. That's a hard one to say. Sacha Baron Cohen. I love his involvement. I love the character that he plays. I love his musical number. He's silly. I dig it. Is Sweeney Todd Jack the Ripper? Kinda, I guess. Only like maybe even more tactful. I mean, he like owns a place where he does all of his, you know, he's got flyers saying, come get a shave. You know what I'm saying? But I want to come back to Stephen O'Donnell's comment, Grease 2 rocks. It's crazy that you mentioned this. I love Grease 2. It's actually in my top 5 musicals ever made. And I'm working on something involving that. So, you know. Did I ever see Cry Baby? Yeah, of course. Of course I saw Cry Baby. That's one of those ones where if you haven't seen it, people tell you that you're not a real Johnny Depp fan or that you don't love movies. So I've seen it and I enjoy it. It's fine. All right, we're going to move on to Sleepy Hollow. Okay, I don't want to lose you guys. but I know some of you love this movie, and I know some of you think it's boring, and I know some of you haven't seen it. I am one of those people where I think this is maybe one of the best. No, I'm gonna put it in Love It. I can't put it above Batman. I can't. But I love this movie a lot. This is a regular Halloween watch for me. I love Christopher Walken in this film so much. I mean, I love him in general, but in this movie, he gives me all the creeps that I know. He's like full creep potential Christopher Walken, you know? And there's plenty of movies that do that, like Prophecy. Did you ever see Prophecy? Ooh. The Blues Brothers, does that, I mean, I guess it's a musical, but I don't really count that as a musical. I kind of as like a comedy movie with musical numbers in it. I love the Blues Brothers, though. Always have, always will. It's one of the best SNL movies. Look, we're stuck on Grease 2 now. I don't want to spend too much time on this with you, Steven, but Prowling is not the best Grease song from both movies. I will tell you what is. It's Cool Rider by Michelle Pfeiffer, or Score Tonight, or Reproduction, all from Grease 2. Those are the best, bar none, and the conversation is over. Let's talk about Sleepy Hollow, though. Sleepy Hollow is a great movie. I agree. Here's the thing I liked most about Sleepy Hollow, and I'll blow my picture up bigger so you guys can look at me, not just the tier list. Sleepy Hollow is one of those movies that's kind of all in the atmosphere, whether you like it or not, because it is a very cold and sleepy movie. Like the atmosphere of the movie is either what sells you on it or doesn't. It's a very Tim Burton look, but it's a little bit more realistic. It's a little bit more cold and less whimsical than usual Tim Burton fare. It looks a little more, I hate this word, but it looks a little more grounded. And I don't like the word grounded because I feel like that could be good or bad. Sometimes it sucks if something's too grounded. Sometimes it makes it better if it is. But in this case, it's Tim Burton style, but toned a little bit down on the slider to a little bit more realistic looking. We'll say it that way. And because of it, you don't get the same kind of theatrical, performative Tim Burton. You get a very slow, still kind of quirky, but mostly straightly played Sleepy Hollow. And that's how you have to do something like this. Because the problem with a story like Sleepy Hollow and what you would think would be Tim Burton style is that it would be an invitation to over stylize the hell out of that thing. But he doesn't. It's restrained. It's nice. It plays really well. It's just a subdued, clean, family-friendly-ish horror movie. I mean, there's like some rolling heads in there. But if you've seen like Haunted Mansion, I feel like this movie's like that, just a little darker or something, you know? Kind of like An American Werewolf in London. That's another classic movie to me. And I don't know what that was in response to, but had to call that one out. Let's see. We got Stephen O'Donnell again. Sleepy Hollow. Solid as a rock. Good movie. Love the Disney cartoon too. Joe Fierro. Hello, sir. Kinda, huh? I don't know what you mean. That must be, yeah, okay, so that must be in response to somebody else. Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, guys, I think that maybe we've talked Sleepy Hollow. Some of you guys want to move on. But here's the thing. I almost think this could be considered one of the best Tim Burton movies. So I should have created like one more fucking row just right there, you know, right in between the two. But whatever, we're here. Let's get on to what I know is going to turn you guys right back around. I had you back when I put Edward Scissorhands up here into best. And now I'm putting Batman Returns right next to it. Because I think it's better than Batman 1989. It still is to me. It's got to be the better of the two. In fact, when I think about Batman Returns, there's very little about that movie that I would even critique. I love that a lot of the movie is from Penguin's perspective, and I don't have to spend too much time on this specific one, because if you guys watch the pre-show video, that whole 17-minute video was just me breaking down the themes and things that I love about Batman Returns. But it's a very special movie to me. Yeah, Brad, I don't even need to say anything else. Yeah, Batman Returns is the best. Catwoman, I rest my case. Anybody want to disagree with that one? I'll wait. Oh, look, we got people just agreeing. Yes, Angela Martell says the best, my favorite Catwoman. I agree. My thoughts on Halle Berry as Catwoman is, other than being Halle Berry level hot, it was a terrible movie, a terrible character, poorly written. Pitoff, the guy who directed it, was just a music video director, which that's a skill of its own. It just doesn't play in feature length. But Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman with the costume design, it's just, I mean, oh. Yeah, not to mention you got Harvey Dent in here, okay? Some early origins of what could have been an awesome Two-Face, you know? So I think Batman Returns, to me, is a better movie. I like the way that the movie adds new characters, new perspectives. I love the fact that it's set around Christmas time. I love the themes of the bad guys and the good guy both just being outsiders that are trying to do what they think is the right thing and prove something to themselves and the people of Gotham. It's good. They want the same thing and they have different means of going about it. And I love conflict like that. I think it adds something more special than just showing up and punching Joker or showing up and just kicking, some thug's ass. It's better when you almost don't want them to do that because you feel that under different circumstances, these two would really understand each other. That's how I get the vibe from Batman and Penguin and Catwoman. They kind of all have that. Ooh. Darnell says, I agree. Hathaway was the worst ever. That was in response to Default, who said Anne Hathaway is by far the worst and was miscast. I agree. I don't even consider, I forget that Catwoman was even in the Nolan trilogy. I really do forget that. And I think I more fondly remember the trilogy because of that fact. It just didn't need Catwoman to me. This is the last thing I'll say about it. Only Danny DeVito could deliver the line, "In the duck," with pure menace. And I agree. That's a good one. All right. Now we got the most recent. We're moving on. We got the most recent installment in Tim Burton's filmography, and that is the long-awaited sequel to Beetlejuice, titled Beetlejuice. I liked this movie. I actually, I'm gonna put it in like it for now, not love it. I may one day love this movie, but for now, Beetlejuice is kind of like, it's just like a fun extension to Beetlejuice that now I'll probably watch back to back. You know what I mean? Like, it is definitely one that I'm going to continue watching around probably Halloween. It's a Halloween movie, as in it takes place around Halloween. And I probably will watch it every year, but only in a double feature with Beetlejuice. I think in a vacuum, there's never a situation where I won't know what to watch and I'll be in the mood for Beetlejuice and I'll watch this one over the first one. It just won't happen, I don't think. The first one's just too good. And I don't have any real problems with this movie, but I only saw it the one time in theaters a few weeks ago. And it just doesn't give me exactly what Beetlejuice gives me. But that being said, I would never give this movie a bad review. I liked it. I enjoyed the theater experience. And like I said, if it's part of a double feature with the original one, I will watch it every single year. So no shade at all. I think Jenna Ortega is perfect for Tim Burton, not just with Wednesday, but with this movie as well. I love seeing Winona Ryder in anything. Catherine O'Hara stole the show for Beetlejuice. In fact, Beetlejuice, if I was gonna rewatch it separate from the independent of the original movie, it would be because of Catherine O'Hara, who stole the show in this movie. I would say it goes Catherine O'Hara, Beetlejuice, maybe Justin Theroux and Jenna Ortega would be tied, and then after that I don't give a shit. But Willem Dafoe was okay. He was pretty cool, but he wasn't as impactful. Catherine O'Hara though, when she's outside of Astrid's college and she's like, "I'll handle this," and she goes, "Astrid, your mommy lost her daddy." I thought that was really funny, just putting everything on blast like that. So yeah, like it. I think that's a good place for it. Maybe one day love it, maybe. Next we have one that maybe some of you were not aware was a Tim Burton film, or if you were aware, you definitely forget this one from time to time. I know you do. This is the Tim Burton remake of Planet of the Apes starring Mark Wahlberg. Y'all remember this one? I saw this movie at the theater. My brother was there. We did not love it when we saw it in theaters. I did not even know that it was a Tim Burton movie when I saw it in theaters. It makes sense when you go watch it now, you can see, especially compared to like what the other Apes movies look like. Planet of the Apes, to me, this version of it, this Mark Wahlberg version, here's the thing. If you have seen and are a fan of the original film, there's been a bunch of these movies, but if you've seen the original film and you're a fan of it, you can't really hate this movie because it pretty much is like, I mean, it's a good remake of the original film. I think this, though, if you have the two next to each other and you had to choose one to watch, you're going to watch the original one probably. If nothing else, because Mark Wahlberg is a little bit distracting to me as the lead of this movie. I don't know why it is. He doesn't feel right in the movie. He doesn't feel like he belongs in this story, though at least not in this version of it. But as somebody who has seen and loves the original Planet of the Apes movie, I can't say that I can't say that this is a bad movie. You know, it's got Tim Roth in it. Yeah, good call out. I'm gonna put this one in like it. I actually think it's okay. I don't watch this one nearly as often though. I think this one I've maybe seen just a couple of times, and one of those times being in the theater when I was probably 7 or 8 years old. You know. So, what year did this movie come out? 99 or something? 2001? Something like right around there. Fairly old movie. You can't hate on it. It's just, if you like Planet of the Apes, it's good enough. It's just not my preferred version of the movie. You feel me? All right, next we've got one. This is the movie that you guys have commented about by far the most aside from Batman. And that is Ed Wood. This is a movie that I thought was considered, like, I considered this movie underrated. Like, people aren't talking about it enough, but it seems like at least our Joe Blow fam, the best fam, seems like you guys are fans of this movie. And I'm happy to report I'm not going to let you down. It is one of the best Tim Burton movies ever fucking made. This movie is wild, dude. It's early 90s and it feels like early mid 60s, you know. Darnell Leak says, bro, how old are you? I feel anxious. I don't know. When did Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, come out? I'm 31. So whatever, you know, however old I would be when that movie came out, that's how old I was when I first saw it. Minister of Darkness says, man, you guys are young, but does it matter anymore, you know? I shouldn't have pinned that comment about Jeffrey Jones. That was an accident. We do not recognize Jeffrey Jones on this channel anymore. He's out. We don't like Jeffrey Jones over here. Ed Wood, though, I mean, the whole cast did a great job. Here's the thing I love about Ed Wood, and I think this is probably the thing everybody loves about it. It's a biopic-ish. It's not completely accurate, but it's a biopic about somebody who's considered like the worst director of all time. But rather than doing something like, it almost has like a disaster artist feel to it, where because of Johnny Depp's portrayal of Ed Wood, and because, yeah, Bill Murray killed it, and because of the writing of the movie and the scenarios, you see Ed Wood as, yes, maybe the worst director ever, but you also see him as just a guy who endlessly wants to succeed and will not give up. And I love that. I love all of the, you know, the true aspects of the story are interesting enough. Ed Wood was indeed, he did enjoy, he was very androgynous. He dressed up like a woman on the set of his films, and sometimes in the privacy of his own home. And that kind of stuff, it makes an interesting story about a filmmaker who's that eccentric. But then you add into it kind of the Bela Lugosi stuff, and some of that stuff was true. So when you're seeing it in this wild and wacky movie, you have like the added smile of going, this shit really happened. Some of it really happened like this. And I like that. It's one of those movies that I think you kind of can't go without watching. Everybody should see this movie like once if you love movies. Because just like Be Kind, Rewind, or many other movies, it's a movie about making movies And I think if you're a film lover, those stories can sometimes be the best ones, like Boogie Nights. You know, it's making different kinds of movies, but that kind of look into the behind the scenes of an industry that you're interested in, that's cool to me. And as a result, I fucking love Ed Wood. It's also one of those movies that, like, when people talk about Tim Burton, nobody brings up on their own, but then if you bring it up, they go, oh yeah, of course. And of course, it's like this one gets forgotten about almost. What? How? You know? We got Nikki Minter. Oh, hey, Nikki, what's up? We got some fellow Joe Blow employees in the house. What's up, Nikki? How you doing? Bella had a sat. Yeah, dude. But the Bela Lugosi stuff in Ed Wood specifically, it's weird when, like, you look at it and supposedly the portrayal of Bela Lugosi wasn't exactly how he always was. Like, there's a scene in Ed Wood where he's like talking mad shit about Boris Karloff, and I think the two had no beef in real life. I'm pretty sure they were like friends in real life. So we need a movie about critics. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino almost did that for us. Tarantino almost hooked us up with his movie that was going to be called The Film Critic or The Movie Critic, which is now scrapped. It's not happening. So, oh, this is interesting. Here we have Minister of Darkness again. Thank you for commenting. When I saw Ed Wood, like 5 people walked out. Man, I didn't see it in the theater, but I can't imagine people thinking it was that bad. I mean, I've definitely seen people walk out of movies that sucked, but Ed Wood, like, even if you don't fuck with it, it's not bad. It's like well made, you know. Black and white. I thought everybody loved that. All right, let's keep moving with the list. Ed Wood, though, easily one of the best for Tim Burton. Now, you'll notice that up to this point on the list, there is nothing that has been not for me or that I hate. But you also should pay close attention to what is on some of the back half of this list, because some of it is pretty disgusting. All right. But next we've got Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Look, guys, I'm not even gonna tease you with it. I'm putting it in the best. I think Pee-wee's Big Adventure might be my favorite Tim Burton movie ever. I don't know if that's the case. There's still one coming up that I'm really excited about, but I love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I was never even that huge a fan of Pee-wee's Playhouse. As some of you know, I'm in my 30s, and Pee-wee's Playhouse was a little bit before my time. But the movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, was right in my time. And that movie impressed me from the first time I saw it, and every single time I've seen it since. It warms my heart. It fills me with joy. And I mean that. Every single thing about Pee-wee's Big Adventure is nostalgic for me. Every scene of the movie, every character, all the lines, it's all pure nostalgia. It's like it has a direct line to that part of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel. I say that to my wife all the time, and my wife's name isn't even Dottie, but I say it, and I call her Dottie when I say it. I really do. Yeah. Oh, interesting, Brad. Okay, so Brad says he wasn't ever a huge Pee-wee fan, but he liked Ernest through and through. I was never that big. I mean, I liked Ernest, some of those like TV movies, but I was never like into the Ernest stuff. But Pee-wee after Big Adventure, that changed everything. Yeah. Tell him Large Marge sent you. That's right. Don't forget the tequila dance, one of the most iconic dances on screen ever. It's Pee-wee Herman's tequila dance. Yeah, the Alamo. Yeah. Oh man, I love how much you guys love Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh man, you know what bothers me? I should have put a montage together or something of like scenes that we could watch. Maybe I'll do that for the next one. Maybe we'll do a callback to this episode. Let me know if you guys would want that. Maybe I'll edit together like a really fun montage. Maybe not. I don't know. It might be too much fucking work. I don't know. All right, next we got Frankenweenie. Now this is not the live action short film that Tim Burton directed. This is the feature length stop motion animated Frankenweenie. And no bullshit, I straight up love this movie. I've seen this movie a couple times, not a whole bunch, but I've seen it a handful of times, and I love it. I love the character of Edgar, especially. It's kind of your Igor for the movie. Frankenweenie is the tale of Frankenstein, but it's also mixed with the true story of Tim Burton's kind of inner struggle with losing his family dog and how much he wished he could just Frankenstein that thing back to life. And I think if you've ever had a dog or a family pet that's passed away, you know that feeling. You know that feeling of, if I could just sew everything back together and electrocute it back to life, I would do it and deal with the consequences, you know? Darnell, yeah, your kids love this movie? Well, you can adopt me, man, because I'm one of your kids. I love this movie. I really think that this movie is underrated. I also think black and white stop motion, very cool. I like that a lot. In fact, we don't see that much, I guess, dude. I can't really think of another example of a black and white stop motion movie, but it plays really well. It looks really crisp, you know, very nice. Looks like some of you guys like it as well. Good. Okay, I'm gonna do this one once. This one's for you, David. I'm trying to use the phone. Don't make fun of me. Don't do it. Or you could do it. That was my impression of Pee Wee Herman. I'm trying to use the phone. Whoever returns the bike is obviously the person who stole it, so they don't deserve a reward. Clip that. Somebody clip that. Somebody go back and watch this, screen record it, clip it, send it to us. We'll use that as a meme. Please. Okay. We're going to keep it moving, guys, because next we're up to Dark Shadows, and this is going to be the first one that I'm putting in. I'm going to put it in hate it. I think I hate this movie. Now, listen. Whoa. Oh, sorry, guys. Getting tons of comments here. Oh, some of you liked my impression. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I got a big all caps yes. I'll take that. I don't like the Dark Shadows movie. Now, I'm not familiar with the TV show from back in the day. I want to say that now. I don't know anything about the show. So when I saw this movie, I saw it solely on its own merits of, is this a story that I care about? Is this a movie that I care about? And I didn't. I thought it was way, way more silly than some other Tim Burton movies, which have had success in kind of the comedy, dark, you know, I don't know, Halloween-y vibe. Like a good example, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice was raunchy and silly, maybe more so than scary or ominous. But Dark Shadows was just, it felt immature. And I think that most Tim Burton movies feel whimsical and maybe a little bit, they make you feel a little childlike because they're fun, but they don't feel immature. But Dark Shadows did feel like an immature movie. It felt like the jokes were not for adults, not even written by adults. It almost felt like, you guys remember that, this is gonna be funny. You remember that good ass movie called Little Monsters about that little kid vampire Rudolph? And it was the live action one, not the later animated one. Well, there was a time when I would watch that movie and go, this feels like a Tim Burton movie. Maybe he should do something like this. And I thought Dark Shadows would be that movie. It's kind of a family friendly, quirky, goofy vampire adventure. And Dark Shadows tries its hardest to be that, but in reality, man, it's mostly making fun of vampire tropes and everybody else laughing at how absurd this version of a vampire is. Just not for me. I did not enjoy it. But to answer this question by Ealing the Dogs, what's the best vampire movie? For you, it's Tom Cruise's Interview with the Vampire. Weird that you just put Tom Cruise Interview with a Vampire in there. People know what movie it is. Maybe. I love Interview with a Vampire. I think that's probably one of the best vampire movies. Sleepy Hollow. Is that okay? We got Bram Stoker's Dracula. Blade. If you guys want to know mine, my personal favorite, in my opinion, the best vampire movie is The Lost Boys. Joel Schumacher. That's, to me, the best vampire movie. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. I, for some reason, find that movie to be very sexy and I don't know, enjoyable. But to me, if you want the best vampire movie ever, you don't have to look any further than The Lost Boys. That's the best one. But there's so many good vampire movies out there. You got Let the Right One In, Let Me In, which is my preferred version, the Matt Reeves version. Tons. Yeah, like Brad Perkins knows. What's up, Brad? Dude, are we twins, Brad? What the fuck is going on here, man? Why do we agree on everything? Are you me? Am I you? What do you look like? Do you look like me? Actually, we know what you look like. We saw you. All right, guys. Let's go back to the list. I'm so sorry, guys. I know we're gonna run over the hour, but I have a feeling you guys don't mind, and I don't mind, so it's all good. This one will be weird for y'all, but Big Fish, to me, I'm putting directly up into best. This Big Fish is an ideal movie for me. It's adventure, it's comedy, it's whimsical, it's dark, it's got the witches, but most importantly, in the midst of all of that, it is romantic. And you guys might not know this about me, but if romance is captivating in a movie, it can easily be one of my favorite elements of a movie. And in Big Fish, the romance between not just Ewan McGregor and what's her name when they were young, but also Jessica Lange and what's his name when they were old. The chemistry between the old actors and the young actors felt like the same people. The story was all about how far you'll go when you love somebody. I truly think Big Fish is one of Tim Burton's best. In fact, when I said Pee-wee was my favorite, the only movie that ties it for my favorite Tim Burton movie is Big Fish. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't actually know. Oh, see, hey, look, we got HusD21 says, I would argue it's Tim Burton's best movie ever. Yeah, you know, think about it. Okay, great cast. Ewan McGregor, you got Danny DeVito in this movie. You got what's his name from House of a Thousand Corpses. I mean, you have a pretty stacked cast. Even some people from, you know, like before they were stars, like the dude from Mad Men who was in it, who's awesome. I think that Big Fish kind of does what it takes everything you love about a Tim Burton movie, and then it matures. Like where I thought Dark Shadows was immature, Big Fish feels mature. It almost felt like an Oscar movie. You know, there was just this level. It was fantastical. It was gothic in its own way, but there was just this sweet Forrest Gump style charm to it that I fucking love. Cannot get enough of. It's one of my favorite movies, period. Now, listen, some of you guys hate the movie. I know people personally who think Big Fish is boring. I disagree with that completely. Yes, Miley Cyrus was in Big Fish. She played one of Edward Bloom when he was a little boy. She played one of his friends who went to go visit the witch, to see how they were gonna die. Scary stuff. Yeah, I mean, I know people personally who think this movie's boring. I don't care. Between Big Fish and Pee-wee, if I could only choose 2 Tim Burton movies to watch ever again, it would be those 2 movies. Period. Part of me almost thinks I need to not only keep them in this category, but create a new category for like the best of the best, just so you guys know how fucking serious I am. Okay, next we have Big Eyes. This one I'm putting in not for me. Hear me out. I only saw it the one time, and as I understand it, this is also a true story. Tim Burtonified. They spun it, you know, it's a little different than the true story. Some people tell me that this movie is underrated. I think I properly rate it as just not for me. I think that the movie is fine, but I don't care much for the story. This movie's very sad to me. And there's some Tim Burton movies that are a little too sad, a little too negative. And to me, this movie doesn't feel good. It feels like when you watch it, you just feel kind of bummed out. Or at least I do. Now, that was my initial impression. I've seen it the one time. It didn't make me feel very, you know, I didn't feel good after it. I just kind of felt like, that was a bummer. And to me, that's, you know, that just is what it is. So, yeah. I agree. Big Fish is incredible. It's the best Tim Burton movie, in my opinion. That one and Pee-wee, I'm telling you guys. Nikki, Tyler, I hope you guys agree. By the way, Nikki and Tyler, hello. Nikki, I said hi to you already, but Tyler, hello. Yes, shame on anybody who doesn't think Big Fish rules. Because to me, Danny DeVito playing a circus commentator, a circus announcer, perfect. Hello, perfect. The perfect Carney. Alistair Campbell says, Big Eye should be near the top. Again, maybe I gotta see it again, but that movie bums me out, man. It's not my favorite. It's not close. It's just not for me. I'm not saying I hate it. It's not like Dark Shadows where I hate it. It's just not my thing. It made me sad. It made me feel sad. Now a movie that I do hate is Alice in Wonderland. Go figure. If you don't like Big Eyes, you probably also don't like Alice in Wonderland, because this movie is also fucking sad. Only worse because it's sad and lame. I don't like this movie. I don't like Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter in this movie. I don't like Alice in this movie. I guess Tim Burton didn't really direct the sequel, huh? Or didn't. He's not on my list. Anyway, yeah, this movie was not for me. I get why Alice in Wonderland is such a beloved story, because I get that, like, at its core, it's very psychedelic. It's very much an adventure. It has a lot going on with, like, you know, maturing from a girl into a woman, and just there's tons of elements of the story that make it rich, that make it easy to tap into and tell your own version of. But to me, this version of Alice in Wonderland was only made for the aesthetic value of saying Tim Burton, Alice in Wonderland. That's what happened. Because to me, it's curious that, like, when Tim Burton does something, like, he made Edward Scissorhands, one of the greatest movies he's ever made. And that basically was Tim Burton's version of Pinocchio, right? We can agree there. It's basically Tim Burton doing Pinocchio. But then with Alice in Wonderland, and same thing with the next movie on the list, Dumbo, the problem is these are stories that have other iterations, other versions of them that are already loved by people. Edward Scissorhands was its own fresh thing. Sure, it felt like a take on Pinocchio, but it wasn't a Pinocchio movie. It was an Edward Scissorhands movie. That's the problem to me. Zap says that Alice in Wonderland was sexy visually. I disagree. I think if Tim Burton, I mean, he's got a lot of movies that are visually attractive, and even some of them that are sexy. I would say if Tim Burton had one movie that had, like, a sexy aesthetic, well, it's got to be Batman Returns because of Michelle Pfeiffer. Am I right? You know. Also, Christopher Walken's big blue eyes, pretty sexy, pretty hot. Oh yeah. Sorry, Tyler. I don't know if you're calling me out for the rant or if you're cheering me on for a rant, but I will tell you this. Here's my beef with Alice in Wonderland once and for all. Tim Burton tried to take a story that was known and, even worse, beloved, and he just made it to go, what if I did that, but it looked like a Tim Burton movie, but I didn't change anything to make it suit anything interesting, and I didn't tell it better than it previously was. I only did it for the aesthetic value. I'm not saying the movie doesn't look good, but to me, I don't care if the movie looks good if there's nothing else for me to hold on to. And there wasn't really a performance I cared about. I like Helena Bonham Carter, but even in this movie, it just, none of it worked for me. It all felt wrong. It all felt like a fever dream. So that's my take, okay? And I'm going to leave it at that. We're already past my hour, and I don't want to lead you guys down too much of a tangent before I have a chance to talk about how much I fucking hate Dumbo. What's up? No, just kidding. I mean, I do hate. I'm not going to put it in hate. I actually think... No, I'm going to put it in hate. It's weird. I don't want to say I hated Dumbo because I have only seen it one time. I streamed it on Disney Plus a few years ago. And I didn't really hate it, I guess. I just didn't like it either. I'm putting it in not for me. Fuck it. I don't care. Alice in Wonderland, I've seen enough times to know what I don't like about it. The Dumbo movie, to me, I didn't like the look of Dumbo. That's kind of a big deal. Is that when the movie's about your elephant and I don't like the way your elephant looks in the movie, you got a big fucking problem on your hands, okay? I don't know what the deal was. It kind of had like an ugly Sonic effect with me where I saw it and was like, it's uncanny and I don't like it at all. So, yeah. Oh, Tyler. Yeah, stick around then, buddy. Stick around. If you want to see my take on Charlie, stick around. Nikki didn't even watch Dumbo. Yeah, you didn't really miss anything. You know what I'm saying? Like the movie to me is it just like Alice in Wonderland. It's maybe a little bit more tolerable because Colin Farrell delivers a pretty good performance, I guess. I again only saw it the one time. But where it falls flat is all the same ways that Alice in Wonderland does. It's sad, but it's not interesting, and it looks okay, but it's the story is not quality in comparison to, like, you know, the Dumbo we've heard before. I personally, I don't know. I just think that the movie fell flat, and it again feels like Disney going, how can we use Tim Burton to capitalize on something we own that we can just kind of shit out onto a streamer? And that's kind of what Dumbo feels like to me. Jeff, feel? Should we save Charlie for last? No, we're gonna do it now. I hate it. I'm gonna try not to curse so much. Sorry about that, guys. I don't like this movie. In fact, I do. This is probably the first Tim Burton movie that I ever saw where I straight up was like, I hate this movie and every single thing that it is. I know what you guys are all thinking. Anybody who likes this movie, by the way, I know people who enjoy this movie. I know people who swear by it. Everybody I talk to who likes this movie always tells me the same shit. So I know what some of you guys are going to be thinking. It's always the same thing. It's always, yeah, but it's probably because you love the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka. Yeah, so does everybody, though, first of all. Second of all, it's not because I love that movie that I don't love this one. In fact, I could care less, really, about which version someone else prefers. But it is crazy to me that somebody would think that because I think one of them is so good that's why I couldn't appreciate a far less good version of it. This movie is like this is the movie that, like, your brain goes to when you hear that your favorite movie is being remade. It's the worst case scenario that your brain automatically jumps to. You know what I mean? Like, for those of you that go nuts over the It miniseries from 1990, which Tim Curry's one of my all-time favorite actors, so no shade. But when I heard that they were remaking it, I was excited that it was getting a new adaptation where other people assumed worst case scenario. I'm glad it worked out for It, but this is the movie that you think of when you think, how bad could it be? How bad will it get with modern technology ruining some of the charm? This is another thing I hear a lot. It's closer to the book. But exactly to your point, though, Tyler, but it is still a poor adaptation, and it's silly. I like Roald Dahl. I like the works of Roald Dahl. Nothing against that. This movie's story isn't even my beef with it, because it is essentially the story we all know. It's pretty similar. The problem with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is Johnny Depp's performance is terrible. His Michael Jackson fucking whatever he's doing, where he's smiling the whole time and he's talking like he's 5 years old. I hate it. I'm trying not to curse, but like what it reminds me of is Johnny Depp reading the brief of what do you think a creepy pedophile would be like at a circus, and then him putting that on. And to me, that doesn't feel very respectful to the character of Willy Wonka, who admittedly was a creep, but not like, in that way. There was a little bit of like, and I think that by exploring some of Willy's trauma, it made the weirdo that he became actually worse, which I think those scenes are kind of in there to help establish why Willy is so eccentric. And instead, all it does is go, you went from that, like, and then you really, it just makes everybody feel like something went wrong with you way, way early on, and it went unfixed. So, let's see. Nikki says, it felt awkward to me, not in a good way. It's extremely hard to put Depp's Wonka against Wilder. Yeah, and look, I thought like Chalamet's prequel, I thought it was okay. I didn't really love it, but truthfully, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is not only the worst, it's my least favorite Tim Burton movie by a lot, by the way. I hate it way worse than I hate Alice in Wonderland, and I definitely hate it more than I hate Dark Shadows. And it has nothing to do with my nostalgia for Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. It has nothing to do with my respect for the other versions. It's that Johnny Depp, who is the central character of this movie, fucking sucks in this movie. I don't like the way he looks. I don't like his weird teeth. He looks like, Do you guys remember in what's the, oh man, it's gonna bother. Oh, you guys, you know what this looks like? I know exactly what I'm thinking of. It looks like, and I'm gonna pull this up so I can show you guys. Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka looks like when Stanley Ipkiss puts on the mask in the movie. You know how like the mask and the comic book from the mask, like you know how the teeth are super square and white, and then look at this. Hold on, I'm gonna just pull this up so I can share it with y'all. Check this out. Does that not look just like Johnny Depp in Willy Wonka? Because I think it does. Ugh. Disgusting. Scary. I don't like it. I don't approve. I hate it. Listen, guys. Yeah, so I don't like the movie. What's his name? Who's in the movie? Y'all know him. Norman Bates. He's from like August Rush. Freddie Highmore. Freddie Highmore's fine too, like as Charlie. I don't have like a lot of beef with like the kids in the movie, I guess. But again, they're not as good as the other one. And even if I didn't compare the two, the movie just sucks. I don't like it. It gives me a headache. I feel like I ate a whole bag of Skittles and then took a bunch of PCP and tried to take a nap. That's what the movie feels like to me, and that's not a feeling I enjoy as far as I know. To cleanse our palate from what's been a very negative back half, this was not spread out very well in terms of my tastes. But we've got Beetlejuice, which I'm putting into best. I'm realizing how many Tim Burton movies I truly love. I'm leaving it up there. I think Beetlejuice is definitely one of Tim Burton's, definitely one of his best, but it's also it's a great movie. Beetlejuice is rewatchable. I've talked ad nauseum about this movie and the sequel already. I love it. I love the performances of Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. Obviously, Winona Ryder, she's a star. She always will be. And Michael Keaton, what else is there to say? Amazing movie, and I loves it. This is a good question. What do I think about everybody saying that Jeremy Allen White should have played a younger Wonka? Yeah, I actually, and I hadn't heard that, to be honest with you, Nikki. I'd not heard that. But I think Jeremy Allen White looks like Gene Wilder, and I think that he's got good acting chops. Absolutely. The character of Willy Wonka would be a weird step for him, but I think that's a challenge that people would embrace. So I agree. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I put Beetlejuice in the top tier because many of you agree. That's good. And then we also have this comment from Creepy Lava Lamp. Creepy Lava Lamp says, Pee-wee is my favorite Tim Burton movie. You might not have been here earlier on in the stream, but I just wanted to pin your comment so I could tell you personally. Look at me. Creepy Lava Lamp, look at me right now. It's also my favorite Tim Burton movie. That or Big Fish, just so you know. All right. We've got now. Okay, next is Corpse Bride. I think Tim Burton didn't direct this one, but let's talk about where I would put Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and this movie, as I consider them still kind of Tim Burton movies, even though he didn't direct them. Henry Selick is an awesome director. By the way, I'm not taking anything away from him by doing this, but I would put Corpse Bride in Love It. I love it. Again, when romance is done well in a movie, it can be my favorite element of that movie. Big Fish did this well. Edward Scissorhands definitely did this well. I love love. I love romance. I think it can enhance a story when it's done well. Corpse Bride, pretty sweet movie. Nightmare Before Christmas would have to go and Love It as well, or The Best. I mean, that's one that's really kind of not debatable. It's a classic. I love it. I watch it all the time. James and the Giant Peach, love it. That's a movie that is so underrated. People who like Roald Dahl should be more into that movie, in my opinion. And Matilda. Those are two Roald Dahl adaptations that just need more fans. Okay. All right, I'm going to answer another question, and then I'm going to do a giveaway. You guys want to win one of my favorite Tim Burton movies on Blu-ray? Stick around. But to answer this question, Guillermo del Toro, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. If you ask me, I love Tim Burton, but Guillermo del Toro is a better filmmaker. At least to me, Guillermo del Toro's had more good movies. Like maybe not more good movies just by volume, but Guillermo del Toro more consistently makes movies that I like. How about that? Yeah, James and the Giant Peach is one of the greatest. I love that movie so much. I used to watch that, and you guys know I've told you this. I love musicals in general. I have a soft spot in my heart. In fact, this is a Rocky Horror Picture Show poster, one of my prized possessions, and also that is my favorite musical of all time, Rocky Horror. So good if you guys haven't seen it. Okay, giveaway. Let's do it. You guys want to win some shit? Let's give away some shit. All right. We're going to be doing a Tim Burton style giveaway. Okay. It's going to be trivia based. So instead of opinion based this time, it's just going to be the first one to get this answer correct. You can win this. I made this graphic here, so I'm acting like I'm just now seeing it. But you can win this this 4K Blu-ray of Batman Returns. And all you have to do to win is be the first to answer what phrase is written on Selina's neon sign in her apartment, and what does it say after she smashes it? So if you guys know in Batman Returns, if you don't remember, there is a scene where after Selina's been attacked, before she goes full Catwoman, she's got this big neon sign in her apartment. And then she smashes the shit out of it, and it says something different after she smashes it. So I want to know what it says before and after. First one to answer that correctly will win a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of Batman Returns, my favorite Tim Burton Batman movie. Brad says, I know, but I'll let someone else win. I appreciate that, Brad. As much as I know you know, because we're the same. Yeah, you've already won a giveaway, and I think you haven't even received your last prize yet from last week. So let's wait at least until you get it before we do that. It does not say meow, although those are good guesses. Yes, film desire. Got it right first. I'm looking through the comments to verify, but the first one that I have here that got it right is Film Desire with hello there. And then after she smashes it, it says hell here. Basically, I put together a little graphic so you could see. It looked like this before-ish. And then she smashes the shit out of it. And then it just says hell here. So here's the move. Let's go back to me. So Film Desire, thank you so much for your quick response. Also, sometimes if you ask a question that's too hard, it takes too long for somebody to get it, and then the giveaway takes longer than it would have. So all you need to do to claim your prize, Film Desire, is go ahead and shoot me an email. I'm going to put my email address on screen. Now, this is so important, you guys. My email address is my name at joeblow.com. My name's Kier. It's spelled Kier. I think some of you have been emailing Keir. Don't do that, because I'm not going to get that fucking email. Kier Gomes at joeblow.com. Okay. So Film Desire, screenshot that if you need to, but please email me as soon as you can. I'm going to need to get your shipping details, and then we will have your Blu-ray shipped out to you immediately, probably this weekend. Okay. I'm going to leave it up for a few more seconds. Kier. Let's see right here. Kier Gomes. I know I have a weird name. Maybe one day we'll do a Q&A and you guys can ask me about some of these questions. I'm seeing some questions in the chat that I wish I had time to get to. Oh yeah, Mr. Bucketman, you were close in second place. You almost were quick enough, man. Next time, Mr. Bucketman. All right, guys. So we did our Tim Burton tier list. Let's pull it up one last time so you guys can see what it looks like. I'm happy with this. Most of the time when I do a tier list on here, I feel good, but there's always things that I would change. I think in this case, I might move some of these around one or two tiers, but in general, I feel very good about where we're at. I also think, just to give you guys an idea of what I think is the most underrated Tim Burton movie, I would have said it was Ed Wood, but y'all love Ed Wood. I love Ed Wood, so it's not underrated here. I would say, you know what? I'm gonna say I think Planet of the Apes and Miss Peregrine get more hate than they deserve, because they're both good movies, especially Planet of the Apes. It's pretty good, check it out. It's fine. Okay. We did a giveaway. We talked about the Mickey 17 trailer. Oh, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen the Mickey 17 trailer, go watch it, because it'll surprise you if you know Bong Joon-ho. It's not what you would think. And I'm curious what y'all think about Robert Pattinson's voice. I kind of like it. It's cool. All right. Anyway, join us again next week. You guys know we do this every single Friday, barring any family emergencies or otherwise. You can look forward to seeing me on stream every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific. You guys, I need this stream as much as you guys do. At the end of the week, it's good to read your guys' comments, interact, and just talk about movies. So if you enjoy it as much as I did, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I would really appreciate a like on this video. And, leave us some comments. Let us know what other stuff you'd like to cover on a live stream. They don't have to be tier lists. Those are nice and easy and interactive and fun. But if there's other stuff you guys want to get into, let me know. All right, Film Desire. Good. Yes. Okay. So I'm confirming with you right now that you got my email address correct. Okay. So I hope to hear from you, man. I really do. All right, everybody. Good night. Happy Friday. And I love you all. Let's plug some merch and then let's get out of here. You guys can buy your Joe Blow custom tees and mugs at our shop. And I highly recommend you check this out. For those of you that love movies, I say this every week, these are cool shirts for you because they are movie references for movie lovers, but they're kind of an if you know, you know situation. Like this Poltergeist one, it's the TV. It says they're here. It's very cool. I have one of those shirts. And that's one where people that like the Poltergeist will get it. And if people haven't seen it, it just looks like a cool design. So I'm into shit like that. And hopefully you guys are too. And while you're there, if you're picking up a shirt for yourself, pick one up for me as well. You know what I mean? Send it my way. You can sponsor me. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. I will see you next Friday. And in the meantime, make sure you are all subscribed. Thanks for being here. Peace.